The other day, as I unpacked my 6th frozen bag of vegetables from my shopping, yes, I'm weird, but they're nutritious and fast to cook. Anyway, I came to wonder about the rationale of my inventory management decisions. Specifically, my order quantity and frequency decisions, and its impact on my inventory levels and inventory costs. Hi there, I'm Laurence Gartside, management trainer and consultant in business operations, helping you and your team to level up your business operations fundamentals. And maybe even eat your 5 a day too. If only life was as simple as just keeping adequate frozen vegetables in stock. But that's what I thought I'd look at a bit deeper to consider the behind-the-scenes factors in this everyday decision, but which is also a core decision of every business with inventory, who all have to make the same decisions and considerations. Companies employ whole teams of people to manage when and how much inventory to order. This isn't prudent with your own grocery shopping. The difference between a good guess and a rigorously optimized solution just isn't big enough. But for companies ordering in hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions of dollars worth of inventory every year, then it becomes a very critical decision that can be the difference of causing or saving thousands or millions of dollars in costs, or risking maybe even more disastrous consequences of running out. How much inventory of a particular item you have in stock in your business right now is a function of order quantity, frequency, safety stock, consumption rate, time since last delivery, forecasted demand, and many other factors. Meanwhile, I, like every other inventory manager, am just trying to find an optimal solution of stock availability, protection against uncertainty of supply and demand, and minimizing costs. Inventory costs, such as holding costs, ordering costs, operational and financial opportunity costs. So, how could I nerd out on my frozen vegetable inventory purchasing optimization strategy? Now yes, maybe you don't like frozen vegetables, but then think about other relatable household items, from fresh bread to dried pasta, bottles of wine, toilet roll or cans of beans. The optimal answer may be very different, but the considerations are the same. Let's compare my hypothetical neighbours whose households all happen to consume, on average, 1 kilogram of frozen vegetables every week. We've got Mr. Just in Time and Mr. Bulk Buy. Mr. Just in Time does his shop weekly, and so each week, just after he finishes his bag of frozen vegetables, he buys one more. His inventory level cycles from 1 full bag at the start of the week to 0 bags just before he buys another. Therefore, his average inventory is half a bag. Now, in inventory ordering decision trade-offs, there are 2 main costs: ordering costs and holding costs. Ordering costs include any actual money you have to pay per order, such as processing fees, but also it accounts for the work and the admin of actually making the order. For our home shoppers, that is really just the inconvenience and time to go to the shops. If going to the shops takes 20 minutes and our shoppers value their time at $60 an hour, then that's $20 of ordering cost. Let's say our shoppers buy 10 items per visit, and so we spread that cost and we get a $2 ordering cost for the 1 bag of frozen vegetables. What about holding costs? This includes the cost to possess inventory. In business, it includes warehousing, the lighting, heating, or cooling and freezing, insurance, depreciation, likely damage and loss, administration staff to look after it, and probably several more. To get on with our example, we need to choose a number for holding costs. So let's go with $1,000 per full freezer load per year, which would be approximately $20 per week for the whole freezer. But our 1 kilogram bag of vegetables only fills 5% of the freezer, so we'll call it $1 per week in holding costs. It's a great simplification, but we need some numbers to use to get on with our example. We could go into vast detail, as is prudent for many companies to do, but for us now, let's just carry on. So that leaves Mr. Just-in-Time with holding costs of $0.50 per week for his average inventory of half a bag of vegetables, plus that $2 per week ordering costs. So a grand total of $2.5 per week of inventory costs for his frozen vegetables. Mr. Just-in-Time has a neighbour called Mr. Bulk Buy, remember? The purchasing and food inventory attitudes of Mr. Bulk Buy are a bit different. Mr. Bulk Buy likes to buy in bulk. Instead of a weekly shop, he only goes every 4 weeks. As it happens, Mr. Bulk Buy's household also consumes exactly 1 kilogram of frozen vegetables every week. But because he only goes shopping once every 4 weeks, he has to buy 4 kilo bags every time he goes. And so his inventory levels cycle between 4 full bags down to 0, giving an average inventory of 2 kilos. Although big order quantities are often driven by lower purchasing prices for buying in bulk, that isn't the case for us today. Here we are only looking at the trade-off between ordering and holding costs. Accounting for price discounts for different order quantities would require a calculation model such as the price break model, a topic for another time. Back to Mr. Bulk Buy's ordering costs then. To calculate Mr. Bulk Buy's ordering costs, we'll use our simplified maths again, and we'll say his shop takes him double the time to do his monthly shop, compared to Mr. Just-in-Time's weekly shop. So therefore that's 40 minutes, and with time valued at $60 an hour, that gives us a total ordering cost for the shop of $40. When we spread that cost over 4 times more items purchased in the monthly shop, then we have to apportion $1 of ordering cost to each bag of vegetables. And because Mr. Bulk Buy still consumes 1 bag of veg per week, we can say that his ordering costs for frozen vegetables is $1 per week, half of that of Mr. Just-in-Time, who went shopping 4 times as often. But there's a flip side to this efficient shopping behaviour. Holding costs. Mr. Bulk Buy buys 4 bags at the start of the month and also gets down to 0 just before he goes shopping again. And so his average inventory is 2 bags of frozen veg. And this quantity is therefore obviously 4 times greater than Mr. Just-in-Time, who averaged half a bag. If we use the same holding cost rates then, because Mr. Bulk Buy's average inventory is 4 times greater, then his holding costs are also 4 times greater. And so he has holding costs of $2 per week and total costs of $3 per week. Now the total costs for our 2 neighbours is actually very similar, $2.5 or $3 of inventory costs per week. Mr. Just-in-Time saving on the holding costs, but paying for it with lots of ordering costs, and vice versa for Mr. Bulk Buy. As a side note, to find the lowest total cost for your inventory order size, then a popular and very simple method is the economic order quantity. So look that up or check out my other videos and all my online courses to learn more about that. There's a lot of extra detail we could have gone into to better model the cost structure of each person's unique situations, of how they incur or perceive ordering and holding costs, but that mustn't distract us from the 2 big points from this example. First, ordering and holding costs are a trade-off. Big, infrequent orders or small, frequent orders can both meet the same overall consumption rate, but create very different savings and costs. Second, inventory costs are big and important. $3 a week might not sound big, but if you think that the bag of vegetables itself might only cost $2, then we highlight that the inventory costs might be as big or more than the value of the items themselves. And when so many inventory costs are indirect, trying to account for the value of your time when you go shopping, or apportion costs to the rent you pay for the space you keep in your freezer, they can fall out of sight, out of mind, as we get distracted by shiny supermarket promotion stickers of buy 3 and get the 4th half price. So when deciding how much and how often to order your inventory, don't forget its implications on the ordering cost and the holding costs, which could add up to a lot more than some frozen peas.